We can try it as another, but
here I got to do the post.
Yeah, it says live right now, so watch what you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live. We've been live for 3 seconds. If you want, you know what to do. Go ahead and
I got you.
share it.
Word. Did we get anybody on?
All right, so if you are tuned in, just, if you watch the podcast enough, you know that this is part of it. We ain't got a damn staff. Oh, man.
There we are. Okay, here we go. We can go ahead and share it. There's one person doing that, probably me.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to share it on that page?
Yeah, please.
Whoops.
Somebody texted me earlier and asked, I was like, I don't know the link, but go to YouTube. But I just said we'll post it on the page whenever it goes. Man, I'm tired.
Yeah, it feels a lot later than it is, doesn't it?
Yeah. The daylight savings time, that heart attacks go up like 25% just on the little bit of daylight change?
I think it's stupid, man, because it's pointless.
It was done for commerce. You'll get people want to be home by dark. That's just a human instinct, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. It gets dark now by 5,
Look
right?
at fucking Randy, like, let's go. Randy wants to hear me fucking give him props. I'm going to rip into him a little
bit. Oh,
bit.
you mean your guide?
Whatever.
Randy's guide service?
I didn't give you the context behind that.
But the whole thing with daylight savings time is, it was during World War I, some history, but it was to get people to shops before 5 p.m.
Yeah, so they can keep shopping. I don't want to close my.
It's stupid.
In Alabama where I lived, around Dothan, you follow it when they do the wintertime. It was depressing because it got dark at like 3:30.
Yeah,
because we were right on the central time zone.
Yeah. But in Hawaii, they didn't have it.
Yeah, they didn't have it.
And the only thing in Hawaii was it gets dark at 6.
Yeah,
6:37 is dark, so the beaches would shut down because of sharks.
Yeah,
like no surfing after 6, which sucked during certain beaches.
Yeah,
but
all right.
Still a little early, but
we are. It's 7:27.
Yep.
So anyway, shout out to, let's give some plugs. Buddy Ard at the Skull Project, the Skull Mounts. Deer's there right now. Wilton Peavy, taxidermy. If you kill one and want to mount it, you couldn't believe all the hate I got for not mounting that deer.
Oh man, yeah, I heard about that.
What was it like? What the fuck?
What, just because of the hide or what?
No. I didn't want to shoulder mount it because his brow tines were like that big.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's gonna be a badass skull mount. I'm gonna get one of them skull mounts, not lay flat, that kick out. You know what I mean? It's gonna look dope. It ain't just gonna go hanging on the wall. It's gonna have prominence. So Buddy Ard at the Skull Project, Wilton Peavy at Peavy's Taxidermy. SNS meat processors.
Oh yeah.
I'll be bringing them that deer. I already warned them that it was pretty tore up. Look like I got fragged. I'll tell the story.
You out there with hand grenades.
There you go. Buddy Ard's in.
Yep.
Tuned in. And so SNS, who else we got? Latitude Roofing. If you need roof or home services, Latitude. Remodels, bathrooms, kitchens, all that
and
shit.
Of course, special shout out to every single person that donated to the Deacon Flint.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Because I don't know if you've been in the Gut Shack lately, but it's phenomenal. So.
Yeah, and some people has actually brought. I know that Greg Kimball, I'm sorry, Greg. He brought trash bags and some other stuff. Somebody left a new knife up there I've never seen.
Yeah, it's a good thing going, man.
So I'm thinking that next drive, because I still got like $250, $300 left. I was going to buy expendable items with. But I may go and get maybe one of those steel tables.
Yeah, another table.
Yeah, because it's getting real crowded up there.
Yeah, it does, and it's been. I don't know if anybody's been up there. I'm sure everybody who's watching has. It's been money in the past 2 weeks. Have been nuts. And yes, to that person, I don't know who you are, mystery man, who was laughing about me claiming the rut is on. Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
No. You didn't. No.
Yep.
Again, context is everything. You didn't say the rut is on.
Well, I said peak rut.
You said peak rut.
Okay. I stand corrected.
I knew what you were getting at when you read that post because it was funny. Like, okay, the rut just started. Everybody's excited. Deer are starting to fucking come out.
Yeah.
People are seeing more deer. They're shooting more deer. And all of a sudden, the entire freaking populace of Fort Bragg hunting gets kicked out for not signing whatever the issue was.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
As I'm reading that, I got your point. But I thought to myself, peak rut's not until next week or
right.
So
that's what I meant. It was just a joke. It was a joke on apps. I was saying, my hunt stand app says that it's peak rut. It said it was peak rut. It said October 27th, so I was going off that.
Yeah.
What the app said, making a joke about it.
You know what? So in my experience, just on that subject, peak rut is always quiet. I think we touched on the podcast when we had Skipper and Jonathan on. It's like everybody gets excited for that peak rut time frame, but a lot of that time, in my experience, which is not a lot, especially with mature bucks, but they don't. I guess they call it the lockdown,
right?
Where they find their doe and they're going to keep with that doe for a couple of days until he bones her, and then but you know what I'm saying, he's not running around like this last week, the week before. It's been let's say the last week of November, I saw an uptick in action. I saw a lot of scrubs.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything
Definitely.
that, you know,
Nope.
the biggest one I saw that I typically probably would have shot was a 6-pointer, but I don't know that he was a 6. He could have been a smaller 8 because it was low light.
Yeah.
And there was does were blowing all around me, and I thought I was getting busted, but they were just blowing off the bucks that were harassing them, the young bucks.
I've only seen this entire season, and I've been seeing deer.
Yeah.
The last
you've been seeing all bucks.
All bucks.
Yeah.
Not I saw 3 does.
Yeah.
Total, completely, since I've been out since September.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I'm not complaining. That is awesome, you know. But it's just I don't know what the deal is because I'm actually trying to hunt doe
It's
right now.
early season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's early in the rut, and that's the first thing. They don't know what to do. They get kicked out of their. This is the way I understand it. So I'm no expert. If you hear me say anything that's new to you, go and double check it yourself before you apply it. But typically, they run in bachelor groups, right?
Yep.
Together, and then they start separating. And the young bucks are usually the first ones that kind of get moved out because they can't fight back. So they end up kind of on their own, and they don't know what to do with that hard pecker. Kind of like a 12-year-old in the bathroom jerking off.
Yeah.
You know, you want to fuck with your son when he's like 12 years old. He's in the bathroom. Just walk up to the knob and just shake it, and then walk away. Because you know he's already paranoid. But so they're running around, you know, chasing and harassing. Really, that's what I saw. But the uptick is I can't talk and read at the same time.
Yeah,
we'll get to it. Yeah.
We got people. Living in Fayetteville, Fort Liberty, North Carolina says that's an interesting name.
It's been lit.
The past 2 weeks, it has. It's been on. I mean, it was really slow starting out. Like I would say it was a non-productive early season because last season I was seeing a lot more like early season.
Really? This year I saw more. And we talking about early season. You talking about September 9th?
Scouting in September. Yeah. And then
I saw more
October was like. This is my Brendan's opinion from the trees. All right, and I'm gonna tell everybody, you know, like I'm not a professional hunter. I'm not the freaking man out there.
No, we see
but I spent a lot of time in the woods. Like I'm out there when you guys
every day.
I'm almost every day. Yeah. I have that, you know, luxury. It's a lot of freaking work and it's tiring and it's a lot of wasted time. And it's funny because I was actually Buddy R can tell you this too. You know, I was out there and every text I think you got as well. I'm like, man, fuck hunting. And as soon as I say fuck hunting, here comes a deer.
Every day.
I'm out there a lot.
Even yesterday before that damn buck showed up, I was literally at that point where I was like, I had gone 6 days without seeing a deer. And prior to that week, I was seeing deer, I don't know, 60% of the time. Yeah. Does, scrub bucks, you know, when I can get hunting out of the saddle, it's kind of hard to get video and hold your weapon.
Right.
Because just because you see like a scrubby buck come in, you don't just hang your bow or your rifle back up. You're ready because you might shoot that deer.
Yeah.
You know, the itchy finger might take over, or there might be something following it. So if you're sitting there with your phone or video, you know, I don't have all that fancy equipment. I've just got my shitty phone and I'm videotaping. And then all of a sudden the buck comes in. What, I got to put my phone away now? And then I got to pick up my, so
that's why you get a chest mount.
It's hard to video a deer. Now, when you see like 1 or 2 does and you've watched them, that's when I'll only pull my phone out when they're below my tree and I know nothing's coming. But
so, I mean, that's my observations for the season. Like, I'm happy with the season. You know, I shot my freaking scrub.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I needed meat, but
all you had to do was wait another couple of days. You could have had all the meat that I shot last night.
I had to cure the itch, man. You know, you get to that point where
I don't know, dude. I've been there. I almost shot that 6-pointer because I was like, oh, it's not what I want, but it was outside its ears and that's the basket. You know. Yeah. You want to shoot shit, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
I just felt like, man, you know, because like I had 2 whiffs from earlier in the season. That one that really broke my heart was the musket. Because this season I had 2 goals: kill one with my musket and hit every hunting spot on Bragg.
Yeah. What, every area?
Every area. Yeah. Well, Yeah, not hunting spots.
Yeah.
Tons. But and so far, I've actually been hitting. That's another thing I'll talk about later about looking for new stuff and getting out of your comfort zone. I want to talk about that because I had an epiphany driving in the other day. And I think we all go through this in our head. And it's something that's helped me break out of that dry spell and see more and have more opportunities. Yeah. But remind me about that.
Well, no, on that subject,
yeah.
I agree. And I've been doing a lot more of that this year and going on something that I don't know, I think it was Sam Bone that said it in one of the comments. He was like, hunt the scrape for 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I was like, okay. I went in, I found the scrape in an area I'd never been in. It was like hit. It wasn't just a spread. I mean, it was dug in.
And now you will see.
And I sat on it. And that first night, I saw 2 does came out.
Right.
And then I sat on it for 3 days. 2 days I didn't see anything, but on the third day, the same 2 does came out. So that's kind of like what I've been doing is in these areas, even though it's the same area.
Yeah.
Like, the areas are big. And typically, if I've been hunting one area for 3 or 4 years, I'm pretty much staying in one little section. I'm just kind of hopping around.
Yeah.
I'm not hunting in every corner. It's just not what I've been doing.
This season, what I'm doing is I'm actually a lot lately. I've been just observing. Like I'm going in, and I'm not even thinking about like, well, I hope the stud comes through. I'm like, I'm going to go in. I'm going to get on the ground. I'm going to look for signs. I'm going to find different areas than I would usually go. All right, that's what I've really been trying to train myself. Because I was driving in the other day, and I was in a pretty popular area in the middle of Post. I'm not going to mention where, but very, very popular. And I was looking at stuff, and as I'm driving, I'm going, "Damn, that's a great spot. Damn, that's a great spot." Well, guess what? Every other hunter in the woods that knows anything about deer hunting is doing the same exact shit. Yeah. And what I noticed was when I went to that spot a few days later, there were people going to those spots, so I avoided them. So what I'm trying to do now is when I get out there, and this is like in between the morning sit and going to lunch or whatever, or coming back out, I'll try to look for stuff that's like just I know there's deer there, but it's just like Randy's rule. I thought Randy Weibel's rule about if it looks stupid, it makes sense. That's what I'm kind of doing this season, and I have been finding more when I get on the ground and go into areas like that. I'm actually finding more sign. Mm-hmm. And there was a while this season where there wasn't a lot of rubs, there wasn't a lot of scrapes. Yeah. It was just like it was slow.
It was slow for me in that aspect, especially with rubs. The only rubs that I've really found, you have to go in where you're typically not going to go hunt because unless he's not in there and he's likely to come back, you go in, you're going to blow it because it's so thick.
And for people that Dave Anthony's just said he had a great quote or a great comment right here. He says he's using a map board with overlays.
Get out of here, cat.
And we got a cat in the studio. Yeah. But yeah, for those of you that don't have the luxury of being able to hunt frequently whenever, you only got like a limited window, learn to get on there and look at an overhead map and do your map scouting because that's huge. If you can get on there and understand what you're actually looking at, like learning funnels, what they look like, there's a great YouTube video on it.
Okay, so I took an area and I made sure I damn near made this guy sign a fucking affidavit that he was never coming to North Carolina. Okay. And I sent him a screenshot of the topographical of this area that I was really interested in.
Yeah.
And he said he never go to North Carolina or whatever. Anyway, he studied it and he pinpointed all the spots that, hey, babe, you're gonna have to come get this cat before I kill it. Anyway, he sent me back with all the funnels and all that stuff, and I went down and I looked in beautiful areas.
Yeah.
Ain't seen shit in them. Shit. I'm talking like if I were gonna paint you a picture paint by numbers of a perfect deer hunting scene, it had white oaks.
What part of the season
it had funnels. This was October.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Think about.
I've been back. No, matter of fact, I was just in one of them yesterday morning. Just throwing my hands up like it's 4 funnels come together at an intersection in between. I don't want to give away too much.
I guarantee you right now you go in there.
Oh, there's rubs and there's
stuff all over the place.
But when I'm in there, they ain't there. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. Yeah.
And that's everybody though. But learn to read that map because that's what.
But that's picking up now too. Yeah. Is there? I'm getting a lot more response. And one thing I did, I guess, day before yesterday is I put my fucking rattle call up for now. That's because all they're doing. And I was talking to Steve Randall too, and he's been rattling aggressive. He got a nice buck. I don't know the story. I think I don't know if he rattled that one in or not. So Steve, forgive me, but every time I rattle, I get nothing but scrubs that come in, and I hate that because I get so excited and there's deer coming, and then I'm like, I ain't gonna shoot this motherfucker.
This is what I've witnessed. For me, I haven't done a lot of rattling. I was earlier, but I just put the antlers up. I'm like, you know what? I'm tending calls. All right, right now I'm tending calls. Yeah. I have seen in 2 instances, not big enough for my taste to shoot, but well, except for one, but in 2 instances.
What are you talking about? You just shot a fucking. What was that?
That was my meat.
I was waiting for you to post a picture of that. So
I'm not breaking that one, man. That's nothing. That's nothing to brag about. I mean, I don't post. I didn't even post that one I shot. Whoops. That one I shot in my there we go. Yeah. No, that one a couple seasons ago, my wall hanger. I didn't post up. I don't post.
Oh yeah, but you tagged it though.
Yeah,
so no, I thought you were trying to like slip.
I don't post.
We posted that deer. I think I think I posted.
Well, I didn't post. I don't post.
I told the story. Fucking, I was giving you shit about when you called me and you were like, I don't know what it was, but it was a buck.
Yeah.
Thinking I was like, well, I don't want to come help you fucking track a 4-pointer. It was cold. And then we finally track it, and it's a stud.
Yeah, it's a freaking stud, man. But anyhow, with him, I think what I was talking about was like, I don't rattle. Tending calls I've had 2 decent bucks come in just off a tending call. Mm-hmm. You know, like a small sequence of a tending call. If you don't know what that is, I know we got a lot of new guys that watch. From what I've witnessed here, that's the only vocalization that I've witnessed from a buck. I haven't heard him just grunt at him.
I've heard one. Just for no reason.
I've heard that, yeah.
Just walking up a hill.
And maybe, I've heard Turkey do everything.
But you never heard him with his nose to the ground when he's
that's what I'm talking about.
He's like,
it sounds like the grudge ghost. That's what I describe it as. That's exactly what it sounded like. It was like,
yeah.
So what I did was I put some doe piss out, not estrus, just doe piss, and I did a tending grunt. So I wanted to simulate like there's a buck in here hot after a doe. So here comes Mr. Competitor to come in and kick that buck's ass. And I did that, and twice now. This was 2 hunts in a row. I put the pee out, went up in the tree, got quiet, did my call. 30, 45 minutes later, here comes freaking buck looking around, looking for that other buck. Now, here's the thing, too. Don't overdo it. Get in there, do your call, and get quiet, because I think we get eager.
Yeah, so let me tell you, let me get into the story about that last night, because I'll go ahead and get it, because I keep wanting to go to it, and I'm like, but I've told it so many times now that I'm going to bore myself. But so let me... First, let me give you some context. I'm going to give everybody some context here. Randy. So, me and Randy hunt the same spot.
Right.
Spot areas, okay? And he's the only person that if I find a fucking rub or a scrape, I'll text him the picture of it and the pin. And he does the same thing, okay? I don't know. I think it stems from when I first met him. Randy, 30 to 40. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. It wasn't 30 to 45 minutes later. It was 15 minutes.
I don't know. He's probably talking about what I said.
Oh, yeah.
If it's 30 45 minutes later, he's not coming into that grunt. Yeah.
So, because I met him when I was a new hunter, and he was new to hunting Fort Bragg. He's been hunting his whole life, but he wasn't hunting for a long time. I think he said like 10 years or something. He just started hunting. Anyway, we just kind of developed the system of, I don't know. I wouldn't do it for anybody else. If I find a fucking rub, I'm keeping this motherfucker. But we tell each other. So last year, when he shot those 2 bucks in one day, right? Mm-hmm. He was hunting that morning. That was the morning that you were joyriding in Kay, and I came to try to help you get out. But I don't remember if you remember the conversation, but he called on the phone. Remember? Yeah. So the day before that, I was walking out of that area, and I checked this area and I saw some scrapes, and I knew he was going to go hunt there next morning. So I said, hey, look, when you leave, walk out the fire break and go to the left, go right over and follow that little logging trail there. Check out the scrapes, see if they look like anything today. So he did. They were tore the fuck up. And he was like, I'm fucking hunting it. Climbed a tree. 30 minutes later, I think as soon as I pulled it off from you, he shot that deer.
Yep.
So
that was a day, man.
All day, throughout that day, he kept saying, go sit in that spot. There's another buck there. That scrape was tore up. And I'm like, no, I was chasing it, whatever I was chasing on, wherever I was at. And I was like, no, I'm not going. No. And then finally, he was very insistent about it. And I was like, if I go and I kill this deer, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So I'm not going. I just decided I'm not going.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it, I'm going. And by what, Randy, was it like 3:30, 4 o'clock?
I remember.
Boom!
Lunch
Tagged
break.
out on studs.
He had time to take one deer to the gut shack, gut it, get in
Yeah.
the freezer, come back out and get the stand
So-
and another stud. Yeah, in one day.
Playing on that scenario, yesterday morning we were hunting, and he was in an area in the
It's
same.
at 4:39 p.m.
Yeah. Well, he was in the same area yesterday morning as that, but on the other side of the draw because the wind was blowing from the south yesterday.
Yes,
Right?
It was a good win yesterday.
Yeah. So going on, Jonathan Holloway really schooled me on winds and leeward sides.
Wind is absolutely essential. Yeah, we'll get
So
to that.
it was like, yeah, it's a good spot to go to. And I think it was me, him, and Steve Randall were just kind of all chatting. We were on Steve Randall's chat. And he had like a nice like 8-pointer, but maybe like a sub 100 8-pointer. He decided not to shoot it. But again, when we got done, he couldn't hunt last night. He had to go to Chapel Hill, some family matters. So he was like, hunt that spot. I'm like, no, because I already had in mind where we jumped same area, but we had jumped a big, nice buck the day before. I wanted to go there. Go there. He kept saying it. So I was like, finally, I thought to myself, like, last year when this happened around the same time, a big buck came in.
And he told you, yeah.
So I win.
Yep.
Okay. So we didn't know that. So I'm giving you your due, right? But we didn't know that deer was there. It's not like nobody took me out and said, go right here. This buck is in the area. Right. It was just on a hunch. Because if that was the case, Randy, you need to give me some fucking credit for the 2 deers you tagged out on last year. Because I'm the one that sent you over there, motherfucker. But no, that's the context. So if I'm texting you and you're texting me, every deer you kill, every deer I kill, I'm going to have some credit for it. Randy's just got a hunch about shit.
Yeah, he does. And like I say it every time, man. I call him the Jedi.
Some people just have this aura of confidence, and they just, I don't know.
So don't follow Randy though. It doesn't, because I know people out there can be like, "What does he drive?" But
you can't follow him. He changes his fucking car.
Let's get to the comments real quick.
I'm not telling my story.
Okay.
Shut up. So anyway, I don't care about the comments. They're listening. I'm sitting. I got to the spot, and I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had went. So I got down about 3 o'clock and I moved about 40 yards. But I'm sitting there, going through all the shit. And the way I'm positioned in this scenario is I'm facing northeast. And the wind's blowing from the southwest. So I'm basically kind of got the wind in my back. Yeah. And I go into the draw, probably about 40 yards into the thick shit. And I'm looking up the hill. Okay, because going on Jonathan Holloway's lesson, when the wind's blowing up out of the draw, what are the bucks doing?
They're trying to get where the wind's coming out.
They will go, so that wind goes up the hill and hits that thermal, and it's like a little sweet spot, always midway up. Thermals. So they will go across that ridge. They don't go to the top. Are we back?
Yeah, looks like we're back.
Okay, we're back.
We're choppy.
Yeah, it'll catch up. So they go and they scent check the bottom. So that was the scenario, and I think somebody was asking about that today. And that's so in my fields because I haven't seen shit in 6 days.
Yeah.
I look up. Okay, so I'm grunting every 30 minutes. That's it. Every 30 minutes, I'm checking my phone. I'm on a time schedule. And I'm doing a 10-minute run, 4 or 5 seconds. So about 10, 15 minutes. I look up the hill and I see this deer coming. The first thing I grabbed was my phone because I couldn't see his antlers. I just thought it was
trying to zoom in.
Yeah, so I just wanted to take a video of
or
it.
anything? No.
It's just one more thing to carry.
Gotcha.
And so he's about 100 yards or so, and he's coming down, and I look and I see antler because he turns his head. So I'm like, oh shit, this might be a buck, and I get my scope. Get him in my scope, and then I look and I see that he's pretty wide. So now I get excited, and I start going through the whole scenario. Okay, if he's at 80 yards now, I got a shot. But he's coming forward. Is he coming to my grunt? Because he's coming dead line. So can I wait? But then he gets to a point where if he goes left, I'm not going to be able to see him. But I'm in the thick shit, right? So I'm like, all right, if he goes left, I'm going to shoot him. But he don't. He comes straight. He disappears for a second. He pops out. Anyway, I go through this whole motion. I get a shot on him. Boom, I shoot this motherfucker. He hits the ground chest first. drops, and then gets up and runs diagonal to my left and stops. Now his run is weird. It's like
he's
boom, boom. I know he's hit. He's running into everything.
Yeah.
And then he stops, and I'm like, okay, he's dying. I got a good hit. And then bastard, he hooks a right, and he starts plowing into the real. I'm talking real big shit.
Was he going back the way he came from?
No.
Oh,
he's going. He came.
So he's
this way. He came from the east, and he came down, and now he's over here. And I'm talking thick shit you can't walk through, like wait a minute vines.
Yeah.
And he's plowing through it. I'm like, I can't see him so much, and I see these trees are like pushing down, and I'm like, what the? I thought maybe it was another deer, but then I see him moving, so I put him in my scope. I shoot him again. Boom! I'm shooting a 308 now, right?
Yeah.
Boom! It hits him. He fucking doubles back, like stands up on his legs and comes back towards me. And then hits the ground again. I'm like, okay, die, motherfucker.
And he's still going.
And he's still kicking. So I put another bullet in him to finish him, and then he died. But like 30 yards from my tree.
So case in point right there.
Case in point is I'm a bad shot. Because when we did the autopsy, we found out, you were there.
Oh, yeah.
The first shot, because I aim at the shoulder.
He was all tore up.
Yeah, he was bad.
Yep.
I aim at where you're supposed to kill with a bow. But I always put it into his shoulder because I want to break his arm so he can't run too far.
Yeah, broke both of his legs.
But I was about 4 inches short, and it fucking took out not his kneecap down here, but the joint up here, the femur bone.
Front femur, yeah.
The bullet went through that one, under his fucking chest, and took out the other one. So he was running on 2 broke legs.
I've seen that before. I know.
I feel bad for him. Like I'm thinking about it today, I kind of have a little remorse because that motherfucker was struggling. Like,
I mean,
he didn't want to go down.
That's something important, especially for you new guys out there that haven't had experience shooting deer. You're going to get one day. You're going to shoot it. You're going to be excited as hell. It's going to be 20 minutes before dark. You're going to want to climb down. You're going to want to go see that deer. Those things can go miles on that last adrenaline.
Yeah. But typically not with a vital shot from a 308.
If you push them, they can still go pretty far.
I've dropped them. Dead on spot. Yeah. Now I don't ever go right up to him. I always wait because there's always. When you do that and he drops, you should wait because deer follow each other. There might be a bigger one.
You can have a new nickname, 3-shot feed.
Yeah,
because we got 3 shots.
Well, I only shot him twice. I had to shoot him twice.
Yeah.
The third shot, because the second shot blew his spine out. Remember, his spine was all shattered.
Yeah, was it coup de grace?
Yeah, that's what. So the third shot was like the mercy kill. I didn't want him to sit there and suffer in front of me, so it only took 2 shots. But so back to the point. Yes, I will give Randy credit. Because of his instinct and I got a feeling there's a deer there, but I want credit for those 2 fucking deer that you killed last year. Because I was thinking about that. I went through the conversation. I went through the text because I got all our texts going back years of everything. And it took me like 2 hours, Randolph. You were in that spot because I told you to go check it out because I saw scrapes and you killed 2 bucks. I don't get a thank you. But me, I killed a fucking stud. This fucking stud. Yeah, no credit.
Last night you told me it was a scrub.
Okay. So every deer that you have killed in a certain area that you had never been to until you met me, which is the reason why you bought a fucking crossbow, I get credit for all that because it was my spot before you get, or my area before yours. You better give me credit or I'm gonna take back my credit that I gave you. But no, it's a fucking great combo. And I love it. I'm talking shit, but it is actually, who else? Maybe my son. I would say, hey, look, there's a big deer in this area. The only time that I have not been able to share a spot with Randy is when somebody else, like say some other guy, has said, hey man, it showed me a picture and said, you want to kill this deer? I don't want to kill him. I'm bucked out. Yeah. I can't give that spot up. But I tend to go there twice. But because we talk all the time, and I have to lie about it or say no, I don't end up going back there. You know, I just leave the spot alone. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story. And the reason why I called it, I got a lot of shit for not shoulder mounting that deer. Everybody's got their own things that turn them on. I like non-typical deer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I like something. I want a kicker, a drop tine, and I like brow tines. Mm-hmm. And while this guy was 17.8 in his spread, I don't know how to measure his inches. His brow tines were only like an inch.
Yeah, nice. He had a cool looking, very symmetrical.
Very symmetrical. Yeah. And I don't know what those beams are called. His third ones, not the back ones, the ones the way they stick up a little Yeah, he's a very nice deer.
Everybody has their ideal rack, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. I like the more demonic kind. Like, I don't really care about spread. I think it's cool, but I like freaking like the devil antlers, man. That's cool for me. But
That's a scrub.
that's my. That's not a scrub. There's some big ones, man. There's one out there, man. That looks like a freaking shit, like a damn like antique candle holder, dude. That guy's pretty cool, like a freaking menorah.
I think he's dead.
Is he dead? Did someone get him last
I think
year?
somebody got. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, but man,
I think somebody got him. The one with the twist. The one with the twisty horns.
Yeah, I do want to say, man, this year there's been some freaking just amazing.
Did you see the one that girl killed?
Hey,
I'm sorry, that girl, that woman, and I can't remember her name now. That stud. That
thing
fucking
was
stud.
freaking. That's the biggest deer. I think that was the biggest buck that I've seen.
I don't know. Mavericks might be a little bigger.
Weight wise.
Weight wise, yeah, it was like 170 something.
Yeah.
Well, no, Mavericks was 180.
Well,
I can't
they're
remember.
both big bucks.
Yeah.
Freaking
But we're gonna
huge,
put that in a
that's
different category.
Awesome, man. And
But
that's
was
really cool.
Cliff steer,
yeah,
fucking stud.
oh yeah.
Who else had a stud? Steve Randall got a nice.
A lot of
You got a nice deer, Steve. It's a stud, but it was a nice 8-pointer.
If you look at
the
the
stud category,
if you go to the North Carolina, the Fort Liberty, that's what it's officially called, wildlife page. They post the pictures this season from all the nice bucks that have been killed, but there's some freaking nice ones. And
some people aren't even on the page that are killing these.
Oh, yeah.
Some really nice deer.
Oh,
where the hell did that one come from?
There's a lot more people out in the woods this year, obviously. I think it's a little bit to do with social media. You know, the word's getting out there. I think
it ain't got nothing to do with social media.
I beg to differ,
but social media on anything.
But I mean, social media hypes up everything, man. I mean, there's literally a podcast that exists about primarily hunting for freaking Brian.
Yeah.
So,
did you see the double kickers, giant brow, everything you want? But yeah, it was a nice deer.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm talking to Steve.
Oh, Steve's buck.
I'm not saying it wasn't a nice deer. I would have shot that deer all day, and I like his deer better than mine because it had kickers and it had brow time. He was only 8 point with 2 kickers. So I don't know if they actually call it. It's the one that the kickers were small. So I don't know. Great fucking deer, but it's not that massive deer like that one chick's holding.
Oh, that thing is huge.
Or what Cliff's is thing. And so, mainframe. Hey, I'm giving you all the credit. I'm just not. It's not in. If we're judging by all the studs and there's only 6, I would say you're in 5th place. Right? Is that fair? I'm not trying to give you. You don't like calling those a 10. You don't count the kickers. I'll count them. If I can hang a ring on it.
Cliff Jones said chocolate horns.
Yeah,
that's what I like. I like those chocolate types.
Yeah. See, everybody's got their own thing. I like chocolate horns too. But for me, like there is a specific deer that some of us know about, and people have heard about. This year in inches, he's old. He might be smaller than he typically is, but his rack is so deformed. I would rather kill him than like one like I killed last night. I'd rather kill that deer.
Garrett Citron. I need to rewind. First of all, Garrett says, "I hate your guts."
Yeah.
And he said twice.
Me too.
He said,
"Me too, Garrett."
He says this. He says, "Read my comment and take it to heart. I hate your fucking guts." And then he says his ideal deer is Spikes.
That's all he's been seeing. That's why.
No, Garrett's good people, man. Garrett.
No, he's gonna be. I don't know how long he's been hunting or where he's at in his hunt game, but he's very dedicated.
Oh yeah.
The crowd.
He knows what he's doing. Where was I? I lost my train of thought, but anyhow, it doesn't matter. It'll come back to me. What was I saying? Oh yeah. As far as this season compared to last season, I don't know if it's just more people are like posting, but I feel like there's been a lot more quality bucks taken this season compared to last year.
Well, you know what? Maybe this thing was okay. So I posted something earlier about it was a spoof on new hunters that get into hunting from social media, and then they're out and they're like, "Yeah, I passed on a 140." Did you see that video yet? So it's a podcast, and he's like, "You how many?" So he asked him. He says, "How many 140s have you killed?" And he was like, "None, but I'm after like the big one." He was like, "Who the hell?" That's like social media induced. But maybe I'm not saying never. I ain't passing a 140. I don't care. I've been joking around all year, like I'm not shooting nothing but a 150. You know, I mean, that's just bravado. But in all seriousness, I'm not. Even if I'm looking for a 200, I'm shooting a 140. Unless I'm on a controlled area where I know there's a lot more bigger deer. But public land, 140, 130, you're getting dropped. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that mindset maybe will stop the fucking killing of young bucks. Like I don't care if you need the meat. You don't need the meat. You know, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody in that category.
No, but there was
you don't need the meat. First of all, the money and the time that you've got invested in hunting, if you break it down per pound, okay, it's the most expensive meat in the fucking world. So it's not like you're starving.
But here's the thing.
Let the fucking bucks grow. That is what I'm hoping social media does. Let's all chase 200s. Let's all shoot 120s. You know, but let's not be shooting fucking 4Ks and all that shit.
But what about the ones with shit genetics? Like culling the herd. You believe in culling the herd? We've talked about this before.
I don't know. I don't know too much about it. Like if you want to burn a buck tag on a, first of all, don't listen to me. This is my opinion. Yeah. Shoot whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. If I always tell people at new hunters, you're a new hunter, shoot the fucking first thing that comes out. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about if it's a baby or not. But when you start hunting all the time, man, kind of let them grow, man.
You get to that stage. You know, everybody with a hobby has stages, right? Even surfing. Like surfing, for surfing, it's like you start surfing. What do you want to do next? You want to freaking get every surfboard that exists, right? You want to go and, it's like, it's almost predictable, Yeah. So for hunting, I get it. Because I was that hunter where I just was happy. I was going to shoot anything and walk out, man. If I saw a freaking 4-point, to me, that was like a stud. Yeah. But then when you start to lose that awesome feeling, that's when hunting kind of gets like,
it's stressful.
Yeah.
And sometimes it puts a lot of fucking, like, I don't even call it self-hatred, but for a guy like me that wants, if I do something, I want to do it. Yeah. I want to be good at it. So you pick something like fucking whitetail hunting on public land and you want to get good at it, you have to fucking automatically just realize you are playing a very long game.
Yeah.
Some guys are dedicated and they have a different knack for shit. They can come in and after 3 years be killing 130s, nice bucks. I'm not saying that they're out there killing 200, or 170s on public land, but like a guy like Steve Randall, new to hunting, stud hunter. Sees deer all the time, calls them in. I don't know how he does it. Is he studying?
He studies
a lot. I mean, he's a dentist, he's a doctor, so he's obviously got an aptitude for figuring things out technically before putting them to work, where I'm a fucking knuckle dragger. I want to go out and do it over and over and over and fuck it up every which way but loose. And then I become an expert at it. Where, you know what I'm saying? So it's a reverse engine. It's almost like these new guys like that are reverse engineering the hunting process.
Steve Randall says borderline not enjoyable at times. Yeah, it can be. That's the thing. It's my thing was I posted that meme about your freaking bow hunter meme where it's like you've been hunting this buck all season and then the ruck comes along and gets killed by a dude that looks like Dwight from the office with an
Uncle Earl comes out and sits in a haunted lawn chair.
That's the thing though, because I literally talked to Buddy Art about this. Yeah. Buddy Art put me in a spot yesterday and I was so grateful because man, it was a beautiful spot and it just was a cool place to be. Like there's those times where I hope everyone out there, I hope you're getting this out of hunting. Like I gotta kill this freaking buck. It's the rut, all these freaking in one weekend, people who've never hunted before are smoking these freaking hosses. Yeah. How does that make me look where I'm out in the woods every fucking day? I'm doing everything right.
Well, how do you think me in my position with all the shit that I talk?
Exactly.
I take all of this on like I'm already the fucking buck stud killer and I ain't killing shit. And I'm like, and it doesn't bother me on the outside. It's just sometimes you're like, man, I put in a lot of fucking time. And look at a guy like Cliff Jones. Cliff Jones takes a rutcation every year. I'm not saying he hasn't hunted, but keeping up with him, I think he maybe only hunted 2 or 3 times before he shot.
He knows. Stud. I mean, that guy knew.
And that's a legacy spot. Yeah. That's a spot. It's a great. I think I know. I heard your shot, and I know the area, and I saw the pictures. And that is I'm not going to say where it's at, but that is one of those areas that just always produces because it's a good deer habitat.
Yeah.
But he goes out and. I think on a second or third hunt and kills a stud, and then you're out there every fucking day. But then again, he's also been hunting 40 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And especially not just hunting 40 years, but hunting these woods.
But hunting these woods.
Like that dude, man, there's a couple guys out there. Back to what I was saying, Garrett said. You all right?
Woo! I'm dehydrated. That was a Charlie horse. Jesus. Whoa! Okay, on live fucking TV that happens.
I thought you were having a stroke over there. Woo! Well, I literally talked to Buddy about this, and I was so grateful, man. He put me, like I said, in a freaking new spot. I won't give away where.
Damn, you must have been crying for Buddy Ard to give you a spot.
No,
tearing up.
No.
Buddy's good people. I can see.
Buddy's a good dude, man. Right, that's a good homie, man. Anyways, I had no plan yesterday, and I was kind of like, I wanted to really hunt NTA 1. I signed up for it. I got one of the slots. I waited up all night to hunt that spot. Because that's another thing too. NTA 1, what's the deal with that, man? I want to talk about that, but we'll get back on
Yeah,
it.
well, you want me to answer, or do you want to finish your thought?
Yeah, I'll finish my thought. Anyhow, I got up last night, and man, I was just out there, and it was freaking gorgeous, and the weather was fucking awesome. You know, you get to that point where the deer should be coming out. I didn't even care, man. I didn't even give a shit. Like, honestly, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Not me, man.
And it was just a good night because, you know, the text started to fire up. You got the good one. A big ass fox came under.
You mean last night?
Yeah.
It was hot yesterday. I guess it cooled off.
But it was just a beautiful night, man. And like, I just was like, you know what, man? Like, I'm just glad to be out here because you never know, man. I hate to say this, but if you go into the woods with this attitude, like, you never know, that might be your last hunt.
Do you ever think to yourself, if I think positive thoughts, if I just enjoy nature, it's going to help me with karma and get a deer?
I try to.
I totally have done that.
But I've also been out there and I'm like, man, you know what?
I'm just enjoying this, but the real me in the back, the red devil on my shoulder typically wins the battle. You know, you ever seen the cartoons?
Exactly.
So as I'm saying that, the fucking white devil, I always imagine my white devil is your face. And then the red devil is my face. And you go, man, isn't it great to be out here? And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. And then the red devil's like, man, fuck that. You ain't killed shit. You suck.
Yeah. Fuck this, fuck hunting. I think I literally, you can ask, you know, I think I sent the same text to 3 different people, man. But I think my last was like, fuck hunting. I should have gone surfing today. The waves are awesome. What the fuck am I doing with my life? But no, man, and you know, you're not thinking about this when you're out there because you think all the time. You got 3 months, but it's going to be January 1st before we do it.
But you only have a certain amount of time. Where, I mean, because I think, in my experience now, after Thanksgiving, boy, I don't know. Usually after Thanksgiving, I've typically tagged out, so I don't go hunting. I'm tagging out on scrubs. I used to shoot everything.
Yeah.
So I never really hunted into December, but now, starting last year, even though I had to leave early, so I had to kill what I could kill. This year, I'm moving into, you know, I'm letting a lot of deer walk, and I'm targeting, and haven't killed a doe yet. Maybe December will be different. I have no experience in December because I'm typically done.
That's what I always say. For me, the rut. I've actually had. This is the first time I've had it. Like, I've been seeing stuff consistently.
You know why?
Why?
Because we're doing this, and you're learning more.
I am
learning,
learning,
applying it, and you're fucking up.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Blame social media for a lot of bad stuff, but
no,
it's actually made you a better hunter. It's made me a better hunter.
It's a, what's the word? It's a paradox, I guess you can say. But no, I've learned a lot, man. I learned, you know, every time I talk to someone, I learn something about hunting. I learned stuff from people who've been hunting less time than I
That was going to be my advice right there, because a lot of times people will say something, and I'll correct them, but not correct them like, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Kind of like last night when we were talking about the moon.
Oh, right.
So you have to, as a grown man, our natural instinct is when somebody corrects us to either feel, oh, fuck, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Or, fuck you, motherfucker. But when it comes to this hunting game, unless you're on top, unless you're pulling down studs, unless, look at all that, you haven't killed a deer. Oh, I haven't killed a deer. Me too. I want to kill something. Everybody's going through this, and it's not enjoyable. Who is one of the most infamous buck-slaying motherfuckers? Who is the most? I know Skipper here in recent times, but BT ain't killed a deer.
BT's on right now.
BT, is anybody saying, oh man, is BT losing it? He don't give a fuck. He knows. He's patient.
He's going to kill that one that he
But BT also has 40-something years of fucking slaying, fucking stacking bodies, where he's kind of gotten over that wanting to just kill something. Like, he's targeted. So, you know, you got to remember that too. And I don't think anybody's spending any time. I'm not anyway, and most people aren't spending any energy sitting back talking about Brendan ain't killed shit.
I hope not, because I'm not.
You know, at the end of the day, who is?
You know, freaking Greg Bishop got a good one too this year, man.
That was a scrub.
It was a scrub.
Yeah.
If that's a scrub, then I must be shooting super scrub.
He wasn't. No, Greg let a fucking a nice fucking 9-pointer walk around 2 weeks ago, because he was after a bigger 8-pointer. He killed that one because he first of all, because he's a grown ass man, he can do whatever he wants. But he's going to have limited hunt.
Yeah, he's not up
from here.
He lives quite a ways away, but
he lives out in the area that got affected by that hurricane flood in the mountains. And he's an electrician. He got to probably work. Whatever the reason is, he's a grown man. He shot it, but that's why you get a pass because he normally puts down studs.
And Greg knows those woods too,
Yeah.
man. Like, you know, when he helped me out, I was like, "Do you use a Venza?" He's like, "I don't need a Venza."
Yeah.
I found that pretty fascinating. And everywhere I was talking about, I wasn't even mentioning areas, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. So,
well, you get there. Like I said, I've been out at Fort Bragg now for about 8 or 9 years, as long as this page has really been around. And I'm getting to the point now where you can talk about an area and rather just going, I know. I actually do know the fire break. But now I say that, I was coming out of a area that I fucking been hunting for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. The fire break is here. The draw is here. It's only maybe 100 yards, right? And I was 50 yards down because I was halfway up the ridge. And I climbed down and I start walking straight towards the fire break and ended up in the draw. How do you explain that?
yeah.
In 50 yards, I got so sideways that I ended up walking straight into the draw. I'm like, I don't remember any fucking water around.
Garrett says he still can't believe you put down the bow.
I didn't put down the bow. The bow's coming back. I look, man. I like hunting with a gun. I do. I really love the idea of slaying a stud with a bow. That's hard.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my fucking buck, a shooter buck that I'm proud of, down with the rifle, and because I am not BT. I can't go the whole fucking year and not kill something. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that good yet.
That's it.
I don't have the patience.
You want mission oriented?
If I did not put that fucking buck down last night, there's a chance that every fucking scrub and doe that stepped out in front of me, if it all happened next week, was going down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I would, if I could, I would have tagged down. I had to.
What we should talk about is, like I said, we are a podcast. We are, we have ADHD. Yeah. That's another thing. Randy says ADHD.
Who?
Randy.
Why did you say ADHD?
Probably because we have really bad ADHD.
Oh,
that's what it is. It's not being impatient.
ADHD.
I don't think I definitely have a hard time staying on track. I think
it's accomplishing the mission.
Right.
You get up. Look how the fucking money we've got invested in gear.
Yeah, but you gotta just sit there. That's the thing about hunting. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about staying in one spot. I'm talking about, look, you plan out your week. Right. You got all this money. You got your gear, especially with the saddle hunting game with your sticks, and I got ropes, and I got all this stuff I have to fucking pack in. I got to pack all this stuff goes into it. I want the end result to be fucking a success, and when it's not, you can't blame me for being upset about it and say I have ADHD. I'm a fucking winner. I like to win. You know what I'm saying? That's like when people are crying when Cam Newton was pissed off after he lost the Super Bowl. He just lost the fucking Super Bowl. Of course he's gonna be mad because he's a fucking winner. That's the way I look at the world.
All right. I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat, but don't like that's.
Don't try to turn everybody into you. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get the comments because I'm getting a little confused by the comments. But Christopher Shaw says after last year you should be used to it, whatever the context that is. I think he's directing that at you, and then he says you got turned around, or he said don't forget the Sitka.
What about it? I was wearing Sitka pants. You know what I was wearing yesterday?
Oh, that's what it was.
I was wearing because it was hot. First time since we put them out, I wore a fucking Fort Bragg Hunt Club hoodie. I've never worn one hunting before, so I had Sitka pants.
The look.
And I was getting dressed, and I was like, you know what? It's fucking hot. I had a t-shirt on, and I rolled up I took that picture, and I was like, hey, I wonder how many people still have their second gen Fort Bragg hunting hoodie. And I was wearing that when I killed that buck, so you know what that means. That bitch is staying in my gear.
Oh, yeah.
Not superstitious or nothing, but
that's a funny one. I mean, everybody has their little thing. I'm sure. Like I have my lucky
red Gatorade.
The red Gatorade, not so much anymore. It's a certain pair of hunting boxers. I call them. But so those things get washed every single hunt, man.
Here's the thing, though. It can become my lucky hoodie, and I can be superstitious about it. But there is a chance that I just happen to be wearing that fucking thing the day the deer stepped out.
But it's gonna be your lucky hoodie from now on, man. Like I don't know.
I tell you why I know why I got turned around. Yeah. When I walked through the woods.
That's what the comment,
Yeah. So if I would have walked straight up, there's no way I was gonna miss the fire break, but I was parked over here. So I was trying to walk at an angle. And if you're in the military, you ever did land nav, they teach you to if you go left around a tree, go right around the tree next time. Because what happens is you go left and you don't realize because it's dark. now you just changed your whole azimuth.
Yep.
So now instead of going up at an angle, I'm going down at an angle, and I don't realize I'm going down. I keep making lefts, and then I ended up in the draw. And I had to pull out a Venza because there was no moon. And the flashlight makes everything two-dimensional.
But you know, sometimes that Venza just spins in spirals.
Yeah, or sometimes it moves.
Yeah.
Because you got a bad signal, and you're like, what the fuck, I'm not here.
Yeah. That's you know, like when I marked that EOD out there, that's what happened. Like I marked it.
Did you really fucking stop traffic and put on an orange vest?
No. What? Who said that shit?
Everybody's talking about how you were fucking like had an orange vest on Long Street and you were like, stop.
No.
Are you sure?
What the fuck is what? When
I wasn't here. I was in.
When I found that freaking EOD.
Yeah, I heard you fucking stop traffic and put on an orange vest with phones out.
Oh my god, shit just fucking.
I'm not. That's what I heard. I was like, damn, that's fucking dedicated.
No, I did help them find it. Though,
I know you were stopping traffic. Like I just want to let you know,
hunt stand is not accurate to like 50 feet.
Yeah.
So I marked it when I was out. No, that shit was a
I learned that when I fucking lost my stand last year.
Yeah, that was a 105 millimeter fucking armed fuse. And I was just sitting there and it was right next to me. Randy was out there with me that day, I think. Yeah, Randy or Chris.
He might have been the one that told me he was stopping traffic. He was like, fuck this, I'm going home.
The hall monitor, yep, that's me.
Oh shit.
But no, dude, yeah, just freaking that was during turkey season.
Yeah.
But
I remember you telling me about it.
No, I didn't stop traffic. That's funny though, man, just to see what goes on. But yeah, back to tips, all right? Because I noticed yesterday, one of our buddies in there who's pretty active on the page, he was really bummed out. He and his son John they said they hadn't seen shit and just haven't been having luck. So my advice now is just like I said, back to the attitude thing, the mental fucking fortitude of hunting. Just keep going, man. Like you're gonna have your times where you don't see shit for fucking 4 weeks straight. And
well,
one day, one day you're gonna go out and you're gonna see 3. So just stick to it, man, and don't give up.
I've been telling I get a lot of messages from guys that I don't know. I've never met them.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing at the comments
daily, and I'm like, look, man, I can just tell you what I know and what works for me.
Right.
If I have no outside help, okay, because I'm always asking. I asked Jonathan. Jonathan's another one. He has a fucking lot of deer pattern behavior knowledge in his head. He deer biology and all this shit. He kind of understands it. So my understanding, my whole fucking I won't get into the whole history because I was taught hunt with the wind in your face so the deer can't smell you. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you about the scenario we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I'll get to that. Find a ridge. Okay, everybody knows what a ridge is, right? You're walking along the fire break, you look down, it kind of goes downhill. If you don't know how to look for it on the topographical map, it's when the fucking lines run close together. There's a fucking thick shit down there. It's usually a creek bottom. It doesn't mean it has to be water trickling through it. It's just wet. It's where all the water, it's a runoff. Deer like to fucking sleep in that, bed in there, right? So you walk along, there's always a trail, like a little logging trail on the edge of it. Walk along that bitch, get close and look. Find a scrape. Okay, there's a scrape. This is it. This is like, I've never been here before. I don't know what I'm doing. You find that fucking scrape. Now, in the early season, you want the wind blowing into it because if there's something bedded, they're going to, like doe, they're going to come out with the wind in their face, right? So get up on the fucking ridge, halfway up or at the top, wherever you shoot with a bow, you want to get a little closer, and then position yourself where you can fire and shoot anything on that scrape. Now, here's the issue with that. If the wind is in your face, same thing when the wind's blowing up the draw. Mm-hmm. If you use a call, the buck, if you're hunting bucks now, and you fucking do it, and he comes looking for you, he's going to go downwind.
Yes.
So if the wind is blowing up out of the draw, or the creek bed, that's what we call a draw in the military. Mm-hmm. I guess that in civilians call it something different. If the wind's coming up out of it and he's going to be cruising, if you catch him cruising, he's going to come under you or in front of you, whatever. But if you fucking get his attention with a rattle or a tending grunt, he's going to get downwind of it. So you need to be in a position where, you can kind of look and see behind you, or put yourself in a position, if you can, to where behind you is totally covered. So you ain't got to worry about moving.
Yep.
Because I have been busted so many last year I got busted twice by fucking big deer by doing this in the climber. Yeah. because I'm waiting on him. I hear him grunting. I'm doing it back. I'm learning this whole thing. I'm like, okay, stop. He knows where I'm at. Wait, I got my rifle, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. 10 minutes seems like 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck. Put the fucking weapon on safe. Sit back. Boom. He's right there.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind. If you don't know anything about it, guys that aren't seeing anything, if you follow these simple guidelines, you will find deer. And as you find deer, you will learn more because you'll see their patterns and how they move.
Don't, if you can, I get it. I get it if you're pressed for time. Don't go to a spot where you think like a lot of hunters would go. If you see a spot, if you see a food plot.
Don't hunt them where you want.
If you see a freaking food plot, for instance, and you're like, man, that's a good food plot. Well, guess what? Every hunter that's driven through that area has looked at that food plot and been like, that's a great spot. Go down a ways from it. Go get on the ground. Try to find where you can see where the deer are. You can see those little breaks, those game trails.
What's that? Yeah, you can look at the sign and roster and see how many people are moving.
Christopher Shaw says crosswind. That's another important factor too. Yeah, sit crosswind. If you don't know what that means, you got the wind coming this way, you got the wind going that way. Play the wind. You're facing the direction. Yeah.
So basically,
that clear enough? Yeah.
Like yesterday morning, the wind was blowing out of the southwest.
Yes.
Right. It eventually moved to south, but it started off in the southwest. So I was facing.
The wind does
shift. I was facing northwest, so I had this. Yeah, because you get the windy app.
Yep.
There's an app that'll tell you. It'll show you. It doesn't even tell you what it is. It'll show you where the wind's swirling, and you can move it up and see. So I'll plan my hunts based on the wind.
If you got hunt stand, I use hunt stand. I need to get on Onyx hunt stand. I don't know what it is about hunt stand. They did an update.
They updated it now. I can't get the free fucking moon phase.
That's also a lot of shit on there that's not right. Like the I think I showed you.
Yeah, it's backwards. The moon phase.
And then what else is there? You can't. Coordinates are weird again, but anyways, they have a little thing you can put on your. You can find out where you are. It'll pin you, and then you can get this wind thing. You can place it over you, and it will literally tell you like what's the red zone where the deer are going to bust you.
Yeah.
Which way you're what's going on.
But a lot. So I didn't understand all of the wind stuff, and I still am learning about it. But I just learned last week, and I think if I'm going to go back in my fucking text messages that Randy had hunted this spot on the side of the draw that we don't typically hunt. We always are on one side. I don't know why. It's just better on this side. But he was like, I want to go to that spot. And in the comment, I was like, yeah, well, the wind's going to be coming out of the southwest, which is good because it's going to be blowing that direction up that fucking hill.
Yeah.
And at one time, because Randy's not a wind hunter either. He's starting to now, but Randy is an instinct hunter.
I used to not be a wind hunter at all, and I've been actually paying. I'm gonna tell you, man. I haven't until recently really been worrying about the wind. Yeah. And I started focusing on the wind, and I'm so much more.
Yeah. It's deer activity. I mean, it's like so early season, wind going into the draw, you want the deer to come out of the draw. In the late season, in the mid season, in the rut, what are we hunting?
Bucks.
You said something the other day, and I wanted to fucking call you a liar, but I didn't. But
what?
You said that something about I get the same fulfillment out of killing a fucking 4-pointer as a fucking stud.
I do.
That's bullshit.
That's not bullshit.
Nobody out there believes you.
I don't give a
shit.
When
you put a stud down, you're like, oh yeah. Now a fucking nice buck, you're like, oh, I love nature.
No, that's let me clarify. Let me clarify. I didn't mean it like that. All right. Once again, I gotta explain myself, just like the rut. Okay. When I see a deer, all right. Anytime I see a fucking deer, when a deer appears, I get that jump.
Yeah, okay.
And I get that excitement. I'm not like, oh, that's a spot.
Yeah, but when you see a fucking rack, you're like, oh, the deer's already in the tree. I'm saying it's better. Right. So during the rut, we're hunting bucks, right? That's what we want. Right. Now we're gonna kill. Some guys are gonna kill. Oh, they're can't eat the horns and all that, but you still want a buck. So when you're gonna hunt bucks, you got to reverse that.
Yeah.
And I just learned that, and it has worked. You want the wind. That's what I'm saying. Wind blowing up there. So you got two strategies for different time of the year. I don't know the strategy for late season because I've never hunted it. So I'm sure I'll be learning that as I go. Good thing I got good people around me that'll
let's talk
tell me the truth.
So Garrett says, Christopher Shaw says like apps like Spartan Forge has a LiDAR and it will show you the hidden logging trails.
Yeah. I didn't know that. It's a good tip.
You can get on another thing too. A lot of people don't realize. I find Civil War trenches like this in forts. You can get on Google Maps and look at terrain, and you can see shit that's like undergrowth. Like you can see pathways and stuff like that. You can just see light contour lines and stuff like that.
But Fort Bragg's pretty easy when you look at Avenza because you can see all the creeks. Now, Just because there's a blue line doesn't mean that there's a fucking babbling brook. That's just where the water drains off and it's wet down there. But that's where all the thick shit grows. And if you had 10 million acres of flat ground and 6 acres of fucking thick shit in the middle of it, where do you think the deer are going to go? They're going to go into the thick shit.
Yeah, the thick shit. Yeah.
They're going to be in there nut to butt, like shoulder to shoulder, hanging out because they like that shit. So if you find that, I'm not saying that that's where the deer are going to be all the time, but if there's deer in that proximity, they're either going there or they're bedded there. Sometimes they're destination spots where they kind of bed down, depending. But that's where you start your search. Don't walk through the fucking woods looking for scrapes. You know what I'm saying? You'll be out there for years trying to find them. And you might get lucky and find a nighttime scrape in the middle of the woods. I find them in the middle, but when you're just starting, you find those thick pockets of brush and walk the edge of them.
And hitting an area repeatedly, the same over and over and over again. What's your thoughts on that? This season's showing me a little bit.
Now,
burning an area, as some people call
it. Burning it up. 3 sits in a row. It all depends. I don't know well enough. My own opinion of it is 3 sits max. If you see a deer in there inside of 3 sits, that's good. I would probably, depending on if I got enough intel, like, okay, I know where they're coming. Okay, based on the scrape, based on the rub. There's this area that I'm hunting that's got like some scrapes and some rubs. Now the scrapes haven't been hit, but there's new rubs.
Yeah.
And so I know the part of the ridge that they're walking. From watching these doe come in and out and looking at it, I'm kind of confirmed I know where they're going. So do I want to keep sitting in the same spot? Why? I only see them when they come out. Why would I not want to then move? Maybe go a little closer, but not with the wind blowing in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go in there. Like I have to figure out, so if the wind's blowing in there and they're going to come this way, I need to go into it from the backside. Because as you're walking in, that buck, he's got his back to the wind, or he's angled so he can see what's in front of him, but the wind's coming over his back.
Yeah. So,
and a lot of times it'll be in a lower elevation on the leeward side. I just learned that word. Did you know what that
means? Leeward, windward.
I didn't know what that meant.
That's Hawaii. That's how they tell the direction.
Right. Be on the leeward side on a downslope so that air can travel over him and he can catch the scent. So if you're walking in with the fucking wind on your back, he's smelling you coming and he's probably going to just tip on out.
Yeah.
Like, okay. He ain't going to run. Maybe he's a mature buck and he's in some thick shit. You damn near got to step on him. I don't know. So hunt your position and enter your position based on where you think where you're expecting them from, and the wind direction. Now, during the rut, and they smell cooter. Yeah, it's like any dude, they may not care about that smell if they smell a doe. So you can get away with a lot more. But typically in that scenario, you're getting a younger buck. Like a mature buck, I don't think he's gonna.
There's a few have been caught slipping, especially this year. The
dude last night, he literally got outsmarted. That's literally what happened. He came. He was coming. He was doing his thing. He thought he had the wind in his favor based on the way he came and the way the wind was blowing. He was coming around like he was scent checking the bottom. I had some hunter's gold that in my first spot, I put it out on little paper towel pieces. I twist them out and I put a little bit of hunter's gold on there. So blow it up there. And then I had some down behind me, just 2 things. So you had some scent coming out of his bottom that I was sitting in. And then he had the contact run. So he was playing the game the way he plays it. Wind in his favor. He's coming down. He's scent checking the bottom. He smells something. Where he zeroed in, because they can zero in on exactly where you're at based on. So he was coming. So that was a matter of a lot of luck that he happened to be in the area at the time that I was there. But he was playing the game to the best of his ability, and he just got outsmarted. That's how I don't know how to call that. There's a lot of luck in there. To just be in the vicinity, but if you playing by those, now could I have just wandered in there, climbed a tree and got him? Yeah, I could have got lucky. Yeah, totally lucky with no strength. But I'm convinced that all the stuff that I've been taught and I've been studying and people have been telling me, it all came to pass. And having a fucking good friend like fucking Randy, I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to talk shit to him. Yeah. I'm going to give you credit for those $2 because I'm fucking right. Or I'm going to fucking post the text messages Brendan was on the phone. He was right next to me. We were on the phone. But,
yeah.
you know, it's everything together. It just works out, and it's awesome. I love it.
Food wise, I learned something cool yesterday. Brandon Jordan, I got to give a shout out to him. He mentioned this, and it's true.
Do I know him?
And I started, the guy that welds. You know Brandon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a good hunter. He got a nice buck too the other day. I actually ran it. It's cool because, you know, and I like to remind people if you decide to really run your mouth at someone in a serious way, we'll run into you eventually. Because I have never met Brandon. Not saying no, he's not running his mouth.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
This is a small area we hunt, you know.
Keep talking.
I've never met him face to face, but it was cool because I was at the Plank Road Shell. And Saturday morning, there he was. He popped up and we said hey and got to meet, and it was really cool. I finally got I'm talking to him a lot on Facebook. When I shot a deer in G, he found my arrow years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah. Anyhow, he had mentioned to if you get into an area and you're looking at food. Now I know I've done this as well as you. I've gotten in and I've seen a shit ton of acorns. I've seen acorn tops, and I've wondered, are squirrel eating those acorn or are freaking deer eating those acorn? And there's all kinds of tracks, but deer can actually create a notch on the top of the acorn.
Right.
And I never knew that.
Yeah, you were telling me about
that. And sure enough, I went yesterday and I found some acorns and I looked at them and I know there was deer there because there were tracks all around and they were notched. So, because of their front teeth. Mm-hmm. Squirrels don't do that. They're deer.
They got sharper teeth.
Yeah. It's primarily deer that do that. So,
I just hit the microphone. The problem this year, last year, acorns, in my experience, they weren't as abundant as they were this year.
Yeah.
This year, they were fucking acorns everywhere. It was like, where do I hunt?
Yeah.
There's acorns everywhere. Well, why is the deer going to come over here if there's a million acorns between here and where
I do remember we were talking about food abundance last season, though, as well. There wasn't abundance. It was more like persimmons and stuff like that. Yeah, well, the whole early season thing that we talk about, because deer don't just eat acorns. They eat everything. You know what I'm saying? So there was, when it stays hot for as long as it did, the greenery that they eat, the browse that they fucking subsist on is so abundant. Normally in places like when I hunted in Alabama, that year, I don't know if Alabama's traditionally a cold state. I think it's got the same climate as us, but their rut's in January. Mm-hmm. Later. Yeah,
so by the time the fucking rut hit and fucking you fall to Alabama, it was fucking dead. Like, you know, if you put you could literally go out and put a bucket of corn out, and 2 hours later, critters were attacking it. Yeah. You know, you weren't allowed to bait when I was there in Alabama.
Garrett hunts Alabama. He's at Greenbrier. Yeah.
Yeah. So when that dies off, now you should be. Now here's the thing: I've never hunted the late season, but taking in all these early season tactics that we're talking about, and we're learning, it's gonna help you in the fucking late season. Yeah. When you figure it out, because there's not as much food. So now targeting where they're going to be is going to be a little bit easier, maybe. Yeah. Because what are they eating?
Well, they eat the woody browse, stuff like that. They're doing more woody stuff.
See, I don't know that. So
that's what I was reading.
I put me out there right in say mid-December when everything's dead, the acorns have all fallen and all the leaves are down. I don't know what they're eating.
Plus, they're also
good thing I know Jonathan Holloway.
They're recovering from the rut. The bucks are. Wow. They are moving, but they're conserving energy and they're smoked pretty much so. But it's just weird. I do believe we have a secondary rut here as well. Yeah, or you can just call it the rut. Yeah, it's the rut. I mean, you know, that's why I hear that all the time. There's like, there's the October lull, and then there's the pre-rut, and then there's the rut. That's what we like to do these days. You know, we like to put a label. They're trying to break it down based on, because it's an ebb and flow. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. The last week of October, everybody sees deer, everybody gets excited, right? Some people can't hunt every day, so they're like, oh, I'm going the first week of November, and then it's like, okay, it's picking up, but then they come back in the third week, and it's like, where the fuck all the deer go? Well, Garrett he's right about that. He said they start hitting the woody browse late in the season, and then the red oaks, because the tannin is leached out and they're not as bitter. Yeah. So good point. Yeah, I know a bunch of red oaks are too. That's another thing too, man. It's not easy, but can we preserve acorns? What's that? Can we go out and pick up a bunch of acorns? You can't. In the freezer for what? Like so when all the acorns are dead, we can go put them back out. That's considered baiting. Yeah, I mean, how do you gonna get caught? Well, you do you, man. You do whatever you're. No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that I'm gonna do that, because first of all, how long would it take you to fill up a bucket of acorns? More time than I got. You know, I'm just saying, could you theoretically, private land, get a bunch of acorns and maybe refrigerate them and kind of stall that aging process? So
Or would the deer kind of know, wait a minute, these acorns should be already gone or rotten? But not that they're smart.
I honestly can't answer that.
I think they're dumb. I think they would eat them up. Same thing, they eat fucking apple corn. Like, I don't know what an apple is, but this shit tastes good.
I got a buddy who's on private land. He says birdseed has been freaking, the deer like birdseed, man.
Yeah, they like butterscotch candies too, according to my buddy in West Virginia.
So I got a question. If anyone out there, Christopher Shaw says no. So
no what?
I'm probably to the acorn question.
You can't preserve
deer.
them.
I don't know. Chris, clarify in the comments.
Yeah, clarify. I'm not asking the difference. I'm not asking if we can legally do it on Fort Bragg. I'm just saying, can you preserve acorns? Wait for all the acorns to be dead, like January.
Do the deer know the difference between late season acorns versus early season acorns? But I want to ask anyone out there if they got private land, throw some bananas out there. I'm curious because, like I said, my rabbits go freaking nuts about bananas.
Why don't you try it on Fort Bragg?
What's that?
Why don't you try to eat your fucking banana and then toss it out?
See if a deer comes and eat the banana. Yeah. That's good. I mean, if I'm eating the banana, I'm not baiting.
You're not baiting. It's not like you're fucking putting 80 bananas out there. What I would do is put some bananas out and put a camera on it, like a cell cam, and just see if they come and get it.
I mean, because I don't like anyone that has freaking rabbits will know that that's like crack for rabbits. And like I say it every time, rabbit and deer are very alike. They're prey animals. They move.
Are they a part of the same class?
They're not. They're what's the word? Oh God, it's the word for an animal that's active during sunset and sunrise. Yes, they are the same class.
But genetically, you know, like kangaroos and rats are like the same species, which is why they changed the name of kangaroo.
Not diurnal. Is it diurnal?
Diurnal.
Well, the animals that come out and are active in the middle of the night, and they feed every 20 or 30 minutes, and they take little cat naps. Yeah.
I don't know.
Christopher says, would deer eat it? Probably, but they're programmed to change what they seek out for the season, time of year. Yeah, diurnal. Yep, that's the word.
Yeah, my ex-father-in-law, he's dead now, and my ex-wife's father, he's one of my best friend's favorite people.
Good hunter too, right?
Yeah, he was. He was a good hunter. Yes. Was he a good hunter by how we judge hunters today? No. He was a motherfucking tree stand, same spot, sit over corner.
He's still killing deer, right?
He killed deer, killed a lot of deer. But he didn't hunt. He hunted. He was one of those guys. If the fucking horns came out, that was the bonus. Whereas now it's kind of flipped with social media and the arrogance, which I support. I'm all about it. Is the meat is the bonus? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of flipped a little bit, which makes a lot of the old timers mad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Crepus, I can't even pronounce the word.
He would say, look, when I first started hunting, I was trying to like apples, and everybody was like applesauce, corn, syrup, mix it up, dump it in a hole, you know, all these like different techniques. And he was watching me mix it up. And he was like, well, let me ask you something, bud. When's the last time you saw an apple tree? Around here you follow.
Yeah, true.
Because I got 800 acres out there that we're hunting. When's the last time you saw an apple tree? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Yeah. You know, he's like, do you think deer might? Yeah, young deer will, but if you're going out, you want the mature deer. They're skeptical about shit that is unfamiliar to them.
Right.
So that is a theory.
Deer are crepuscular. Because if that's the correct word, yeah. But rabbits are as well. No,
don't act like you smart,
Garrett just threw that on there. That's the word I was looking for.
He was supposed to come on the podcast last week, but he wanted to go hunt instead.
I don't blame him, man. I mean, he's missed.
You know what? It couldn't have come at a better times. I did not want to do the podcast.
It takes a lot, man.
Especially when I got to work the next day and I got to get all this work done. I'm still behind. Jonathan, I didn't even catch up. I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna catch up on everything. I got the computer, got this program, and I'm like,
but what we do have coming up, which unfortunately we can't brag tomorrow, which sucks, but it'll be
Monday. I'm glad we hunted Monday.
Monday was great, but man. I mean, I don't know if you've been outside today, but it's probably about 30 degrees colder than it was when the sun went down.
Yeah, so it's going to be cold this week.
It's right. It's nice.
We're getting a cold snap coming.
Yes, sir.
I'm going that. I'll look at it later. Yeah. But yeah, so now, Garrett, I will be in the area where you got me on your camera where we first met and the romance started. I'll be in that area with my bow and some other areas, but I'll go back. But I'm not putting the gun down totally because that was my scrub tag that I burned last night. My last tag, if I make it to December, about mid-December, and I still have that tag unburnt on a bigger deer, then I'm not going to leave that tag unburned. I'm not going to eat tag soup. I'll kill a smaller deer if I come across it. But I just think everybody should go, and I agree with Jonathan Holloway.
You're about to have
the fact. Get out
here.
Yeah, he's about to die.
Yeah,
he's a cool cat, but
yeah, We're having technical difficulties. Stand by of the feline variety.
I almost agree with Jonathan Holloway, and that I wish that they should probably knock the buck tag down to 1.
Think so?
For a while.
Yeah,
just for a couple of years.
I agree.
Fort Bragg's deer herd, man.
It's going to be hurting after this year, man. There's some studs that have been taken out of the gene pool.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's another thing, man.
There's still a lot. I'm gonna tell you right now. I've seen some deer that
there is a lot.
I'll shut up right now before people start going.
So that's the thing. If you're out there and you're like frustrated because you're not killing freaking the stud, or you're not, there are plenty out there, man. There's a lot.
Kill the doe. Kill all the does you want. Yeah. I agree with Randy on that. Now we argued about that. I fucking find does in the early season. Like, no, I'm gonna let these does.
I'm seeking doe right now, man.
And he's like, I'm gonna go kill the doe, and I'm like, no, don't kill the doe. He's like, no, you want to kill the does. And, yes, kill the does. Even during the rut, kill the doe. If you're lucky enough to drop her right there, leave her there. She's an estrus. She's smelling up. The buck's gonna smell her. Yep. She can be used as bait laying there.
Get blue jeans and a flannel. That's what Garrett Santana says. Go out there in your blue jeans and a flannel. Just hold on. Buddy's got this cat and he keeps coming and messing with our shit. So
get this cat in here.
I'm gonna hold it down. But yeah, if you're out there and you're hunting, just go out there and fucking do what makes you happy, man. Don't listen to any of the bullshit that he says. And that's okay. You done now?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll put him in the damn room.
I said Buddy's about to have a cat tag.
No, I love that cat. I'm not a cat guy, but I love that cat. He's cool.
Yeah, go out there. Like I said, I just said while you were away, I was like, go out there and do whatever the fuck makes you happy.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't kill the little bucks, man. Let them grow. Come on, man. Let them grow. I don't know. QDMA, I kind of was against that. I was like, I'm shit.
We talk about that every season, yeah. I'm actually.
But Jonathan Holloway made a good point today.
Yeah.
And he got me because I was like, man, I was talking about, killing everything and doing all that. And I'm like, I have never let a deer, which are scrub deers, but I've never let them walk before. Mm-hmm. I just ran up them stairs and got out of breath.
You need to start surfing again.
And he said, but by doing that, look what you killed last night.
Yeah. True.
You know what I'm saying? I could be tagged out right now and not even fucking hunt bucks if I think I'm saying.
Yep.
So, and let them grow. That's it. That's all I'll say about it. Kill what you want. You're a grown man.
Yeah. If
you're a new hunter, kill them all, but don't try to fool us with I need the meat, because you don't need the meat.
I think this is what I'm okay. Garrett actually brings this up. Garrett, I'm tapping into you, man, on these comments because you're talking a lot of good stuff right now.
You're talking a lot, but not coming on the podcast.
Bragg like QMDA. Now, this is going to be interesting because they recently, I mentioned this earlier. I want to talk about this a little bit because I know we've been going for a little bit and it's getting late and people got shit to do. But QMDA. Okay, so NTA 1 just recently opened and to gun.
Only temporarily.
But I'm gonna hunt NTA 1.
Sorry,
it's fucking awesome, probably because it hasn't been. No,
they fucking logged it. They logged it a few years ago. I used to hunt it back before they logged it. Then it was decent. I used to bow hunt it, but I sucked. But I got busted a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the guys I did a roof for worked at forestry, and he showed me some trail cam pics. There were some big bucks out there, but then they logged it. And it's, but I don't know. It's.
I don't see. My opinions on these deer here are a little bit different there because they're so pressured by human development in the last 20 years in this area that I think it's not going to affect them as much as we believe it is. But we'll see. I'm gonna go out there and hunt it.
Go out there and
that's a good example because like I said, I just found out because it was new on the site. I've never seen that code before. I've never seen that just.
That's new. I've never seen it either.
And I was asking people, I'm like, "What's the deal?" You're telling me, "What's the deal with NTA 1?" Well, it's never been open. It's always open for bow.
I don't know that it has never been open for rifle.
I've never seen it.
Ever since I've been hunting Bragg, it's always been a bow only area.
So that limits because bow only. You only got like maybe a handful of people who will consistently go hunt bow. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes it a QMDA in itself. It also makes it not as pressured, but it also has a lot of vlogging.
I'll tell you a guy after we get off camera who you could ask about NTA 1 because he's very familiar with it. Yeah. But I won't say it on camera. Okay. He wants me to put it out there like that.
Right. But I'm gonna do my own research because I'm authorized to hunt in that area, and to me it's a new area, and I've avoided the NTA.
And if they're giving it to disabled veterans, God damn it, you're in line.
Yes.
Just admit it. You're one of those guys. Did you see my post today?
What's that?
With General Grant?
No,
I love it.
Those to talk shit.
I love it.
Hey man, it's all good.
I wanted to go get the fucking Applebee's to go. I was actually going to go to Applebee's and just ask for a bag.
Yeah.
So I could take a picture of NTA 1 with my free meal from Applebee's,
man.
and some other fucking like discounted fucking better shit.
Nah, but I agree. I think it would be cool, and it's going to burn a lot of people. A lot of people get butthurt, but I think it would be cool to do like a season or two of QMDA Bragg White.
Yeah, just for a while. Cool. Let's get them bucks up, man. And I say that only because I want to kill them now. Now being selfish.
Just get the popular. I mean,
I admit it.
I want to start looking. I say this every season. I got to start doing it now. I want to start looking into the reports, the harvest reports. Like, start collecting the data. Is the population growing exponentially? Is it, is it
well? If they keep fucking changing the goddamn. Oh, I got some. So I heard. This is some important information. If you keep up with the red-headed woodpecker habitat, right? Yeah. You'll know and you'll learn that the reason why they want to burn out all these fucking hardwoods and have savanna
you're talking about
and pines is because that's the natural. Oaks are not native.
It's a funding issue,
right?
Yep.
So they want to fucking keep this stupid fucking woodpecker alive. So they want to burn out all the hardwoods. But now they're not endangered species no more.
Okay,
they're on the protected list now. But there's a new species that is endangered that they're going to move to protect. So I think Special Operations Forces have run out the fucking tape on hiding money in the fucking endangered species of red-headed woodpecker. So they got a new one.
Yeah.
And its natural habitat is hardwoods.
Mm.
So
that's good.
No more hardwood eradication, right?
Good.
So,
that's good.
Because, the population can only sustain for so long. It's all pine trees and savanna.
We mentioned this last time I was on. I was in the Army over 20 years ago, and that shit was a fucking issue 20 years ago. So it's like 20 years should be significant enough time for something to come back population-wise. But who knows, man? I think I've always thought that was right about the time that a certain unit got a new building in a new range. But no, it's not just.
It might be range 19. When they started moving all that over there, it was like all of a sudden, it was like.
Every post I've been to has that rule.
Yeah, but it all started in like the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Whenever fucking we started.
Polk has it.
We started with the higher-end special operations, above special forces.
Yeah.
Then you got Delta Force. And then you got, man, there's so many fucking, there are levels above operational detachment Delta Force. There's other levels above that and small. And then there's like non-governmental contract type. So they gotta hide that fund. This is my theory. This is all for entertainment purposes. That's just my theory. I think that's all it is.
But yeah, that damn bird has been. I was wondering about that because it is funny because I was like, is that thing still fucking extinct? There's no way.
No, it's not. Well, it's not extinct because it was endangered.
You know what I would like to see, man? Hold on, this would be fucking amazing. I know elk was a big thing in North Carolina.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was buffalo in the state, man. There was fucking. Did y'all know this? Here comes history guy. About 500 years ago, up until 200 years ago, Fort Dobbs, which is a big frontier trading post out in Statesville, which is western. There was fucking buffalo out there, wild buffalo in North Carolina.
Huh. That would be.
And there was elk. There's still elk out there.
Well, there's elk. I saw some elk when I went up to the Cherokee reservation to go gambling.
Yeah,
I saw some elk out there, but I thought they were pets. Like
they were freaking
state protected.
There were buffalo, man, and that would be, man.
I would like to do an elk hunt, man.
Yeah. I think when you think North Carolina, you think elk. Now there wouldn't be any elk down here in the flatlands, but that's another thing I want to look into because I want to go on an elk hunt, man. That's one of my.
You know they're bringing the mastodon back.
I didn't hear about like cloning it. Fuck, I'll go mastodon.
They got mastodon DNA out of some fossils, and they're mixing it with a fucking elephant. I think it maybe
wasn't there a movie about this? How it could go to
Jurassic Park? Yeah. No. Apparently, the tundra and the frozen tundra of Alaska is supposed to be savanna grasslands, and the reason why it went away is because the fucking animals up there went away.
Yeah.
And so they figure if they bring back the fucking the mastodon and all these some other animal. As long as they don't bring back that fucking, what's that bear? It was like a square head bear, or what do they call it? It was a bear that's
a huge fucking.
Yeah. His name was something with his head. But
Garrett had a question about the bonus tag idea. Garrett, post that one again real quick and we'll discuss that.
What's the bonus tag? Is that
when you're talking about
bonus tag to me is when you fucking kill $3 and you don't tag the third one.
Let me find it. I gotta stay on track with the comments. That used to be my thing on here, but one buck tag would probably, it would suck for a lot of people, but
it would make them better.
Yeah, it would. Just getting the population back to real strong and genetically wise. Because what was it? I think we talked about this before. The Rockefellers brought bucks in from what state? I think it was upstate New York.
Camo Ken was telling us about that.
Out west.
I think there's been 2 migrations. Like they went and picked up out of state deer. Everyone gets 1 buck tag, and you get a bonus after you kill your 4 does.
Okay. Yeah.
That go along with that.
I would be down with that, man.
I want to be the guy that's like, oh, if it's a trophy to you, it's a trophy. Oh, okay, and that's like communism. It's a great idea, but in practice, what's going to happen when there's no bucks? Only a very small percentage of bucks are making it into maturity because they're not just contending with us. If they were just contending on with Fort Bragg hunters, there'd be a million fucking mature bucks because not a whole lot of mature bucks get killed to the ratio. A lot of us hunters out there, we're not that good. Not everybody is a fucking Mike Skipper or a fucking BT, you know what I'm saying, or a Cliff Jones and killing these big bucks consistently year after year. Most of us are out there mostly getting lucky, and guys like myself are just now learning some of the skills of the trade, but a lot of it's luck,
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
Danny Underwood says 6 points are better as a QDMA.
Yeah, it had to be like outside the ears.
I mean, no, that's a thought for a QDMA policy.
Yeah, but still on a one buck policy.
I think
because if you let bucks go and you wait, I'm gonna tell you right now. I will say this: all of the frustration that we were talking about, all the frustration from September, October, seeing little bucks, not shooting does, letting bucks walk, not getting my target, it all went away last night.
Yeah.
When that fucker hit the ground.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was what it was. I saw 4. I knew it was a big. When I walked up and I confirmed that it was a 10-pointer, I had never killed a 10-pointer before. It was my first one.
Nice.
All of that frustration, all of that stress, and all that self-loathing and everything went away.
Well, also this time last year you were gone already.
Yeah. No, I was gone on the 20th.
Oh, that's right. You hunted the run. Yeah. So you missed out on
sucking. I got busted last year.
Yeah, you went hard last year, and you missed out on your big kill because you missed half.
Well, one was the fucking stupid saddle mishap, and 2 other ones.
You were new to saddle last year, right?
You
started saddle.
I started saddle about. It was after. Remember we had the podcast.
Yeah.
After Josh Whitford was on the podcast.
Right.
I went and got the Jimmy Egerton was selling the JX3. And that was my introduction to getting back into it. I saddle hunted when it first got big in like 2014, 15. Didn't like it, never hunted it, tried it at the yard, sold it. I want to say it was Johnny Seymour that sold me my first one, because I saw him pop on the page. I'm not sure if that was him. But anyway, I got back into it. And then when I had that mishap with the deer, it made me get into it, because had I not had a saddle, I would not have been in the tree that I was in.
Yeah. See, I'm still struggling with that, because I was actually in my climber yesterday for the first time.
How'd you feel about it?
I felt good, man. It was actually kind of nice, because I'm still like, I still make my mistakes, and sometimes I get up quick. Sometimes it seems like I'm taking forever to get up.
I'm gonna tell you, that was my big thing.
That sounded really wrong.
Well, if you remember,
they have a pill for that, I think.
My first foray to saddle hunting, I was all about the speed. That's why I like the climbing platform.
But I don't know if the speed matters, honestly.
It don't matter. I don't care. Sometimes it'll take me 20 minutes because I have to go around branches and I got the pedal rope and all that. But it's so worth it. I take my time. I'm quiet and I get it set up perfully. Sometimes I take my platform and my fucking one stick, so I have.
Here's my take on it, and I just made I just had a realization about saddle. For me, climber, rifle season, pine trees. Climber all the way.
Rifle climber works better, obviously. I found that out yesterday. But I hunted in my climber twice this year. First on the opening day of rifle, the first morning hunt, I took my climber. Mm-hmm. And then one day I had got my climber back from Randy because he was holding on to one of my climbers. Yeah. My nice one.
When you were in Nicaragua.
When I was in Nicaragua. So I got it back and I went and I rifle hunted out of it. And I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt like I was going backwards. Oh, man. I kind of felt not cheating. I just kind of felt like this is gay.
Like it was too, this is not
cool.
I guess I kind of used to feel like that. Sorry.
This is like when you whenever your parents made you buy, if you ever had parents that you couldn't have Air Jordans as a kid, so you had to wear Sykes. but you went and you tried to play it
Give
off
me my
like,
entire childhood.
like it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't play into all that marketing gimmicks, man. I'm gonna go with my Walmart shoe. You're trying to play it. We all know you're lying. You're crying inside. Come on, that's what I felt like.
Yeah.
Because I was not a fucking. I didn't grow up poor, but I didn't have parents that cared enough about our feelings to get us nice shit. Like, you got what you got, and usually if something was cool, like in the beginning of the school year, it started getting cold, everybody had starter jackets.
Yeah.
Your team and all that. And people, I mean, some of these kids were like, their brothers were drug dealers, you know, from the school I went to. They had like every team. I couldn't even get one. And then finally at Christmas, I got a New York Giants, but I didn't even get the cool part.
And you wore it all year.
I got the satin one with the Giants across the front, so it was kind of cool, but it wasn't really. And I wore that bitch every fucking day. It was dirty. Like, trying to keep it clean.
Oh,
So
here we go. We got a new hunter. All right, I want to get
okay.
New hunter here. Richard Sloan says, and I'm hunting bow only. High up.
Good for you.
How do you, okay, this is a good question. Yeah. How high do you normally go for a climber? Lately, I've been doing 25. I wonder if I'm getting busted. Okay.
Too high.
So for a bow, yeah, 12 feet, 15 feet. But cover is everything.
I would say.
And now it's going to be harder.
Were you in the military? Do you know what MET-T is?
Yes.
Oh. Everything is MET-T, mission, enemy, troops, time, terrain.
Yep.
Your whole mission is based on your environment.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? What's the mission? The mission is this. What's the enemy? How many troops we got? It is going to determine how we're going to set up this op. So depending on your canopy, I've hunted as low as 12 feet because if I went any higher, I wouldn't have seen anything.
Now you got a lot of movement with your bow. So if you're new to bow hunting, probably the biggest thing that you're going to have a problem with is not getting in the right direction, not seeing the deer, but when it's actually coming time to take a shot.
What's he hunting out of? A summit climber or a
Richard, if you can comment what kind of climber you're hunting out of.
Because I think that's one of the things I wanted to tell Mike Madonna, who he ended up successful, but I was looking at his pictures and it looked like he was 25 feet up in a summit climber with a bow. Well, why are you going that high? There's a lot of fucking
I used to go high in my climber. But that's just my ability, you know, because like I used to get busted low with movement.
Yeah, well, not everybody can make a fucking 65-yard hard shot.
57 yards. 57 yards.
Great
I'm gonna claim that shit's the day I die.
But no, yeah.
Height
depends on terrain.
Height, cover. Yeah, cover is big. Movement, all right. Because what another thing too is a lot of people make this mistake bow hunting is you'll see deer. And you'll wait until it's too late, and then you can't draw because they're too close to you. So get yourself some good cover. If you don't have immediate cover, look behind the tree and look at think about it. You're looking through that tree. You're not looking at the tree. You're looking
behind the tree as you look up.
And that's
because remember,
the summit. Okay,
deer don't have three-dimensional sight ability.
But
everybody needs to watch that video I posted on the fucking 30-year study of deer vision.
100%. Go.
They can see better than we think they.
Go on the Southern Outdoorsman podcast and watch that one about deer vision.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Okay. Phenomenal. And put it into play when you're out there.
So when you're looking at your spot, when you look at your tree, like this is where I want to be. Stand off. This is what I do. Stand off about 20 yards and look at the top of it.
Yes.
And if there's canopy at that angle, then if you're sitting still, he's not going to see you.
Right.
He might see you, but he don't know what you are because they're not smart. What they pick up on is this.
Yes. Yep. There's deer.
They see you, but they don't know what you are until you do that. They're like, what the fuck is that?
They have a good range of vision as well.
But their vision above the horizon is blurry.
Right. They're not looking. They're looking at the horizon level.
Yeah. So above them, but they pick up on this.
Another thing with that summit too, I'm going to give you a heads up because I used to summit hunt as well. I saddle hunt with a bow 100% now. Like I will not get back at my summit. I've had this mess me up. Be aware of that front bar. When I get up, it's a little uncomfortable, but when it comes time to make the shot, the only thing that matters is the ability to make that shot. Make sure you got that bar lower than you would normally have it with a rifle because you don't want that freaking bar interfering with what you can get on that joker. You can strap.
I always put.
You can hang over the edge on that joker.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with that.
But to sum it up, basically cover. When you're walking in, look behind that tree. Don't pay attention. I mean, that's important too. But put yourself in an area where you have your background is concealed. And then another thing too,
or if you can find a tree, what I like to look for is two trees, especially with saddle hunting. I like split oaks.
Yeah.
Because first you got to look, you can lean back.
You can also put yourself
a branch, but always look for cover. Go as high as you need to go. Don't go high. the notion that I was taught, and a lot of old timers think that once you go above 20 feet, they can't see you. You can be up there dancing the jig and they can't see you. That's wrong.
Right.
They can see you.
Well, that's been, but another
Age
thing
of the
too
deer
is,
too.
another thing too is going higher. I like to go pretty high in my saddle. I'll go as high as I usually get into like where the tree has, or I actually prefer to get somewhere where I can step out on a limb or something like that. With a saddle, you can do that, which is pretty cool. But one thing, another thing too is the higher you get, the thermals can take your scent up, and your scent really doesn't become an issue. But the thermals shift constantly too.
In the morning, yeah,
Right,
but if
they
you
do
get you
shift,
some milkweed, I have been 30
They
feet
can
in
get
a
sucked
fucking
right
tree,
down. Yeah.
and I throw that milkweed out, and it goes, hits the ground, and then it starts moving. So don't think that because you're the idea of wind carrying your scent when you're high is blowing it over.
Well, the thermals are going to do it.
But they smell on currents,
Right?
And thermals drive currents, so that current can really travel. So while the higher you get, it can give you an advantage if you are, say, on the leeward side and you're 20 feet up in the tree and it slopes down to where the deer is going to be walking or coming out of, and that's a 20-foot drop. Now essentially you're 40 foot above the deer, and he's looking at the horizon, so you can get away with more movement because you're further away and the smell might go over him. But if you're on flat ground and that motherfucker's coming straight for you, I would say it really depends on the age of the deer. If it's a young deer, you can move around a little bit more. You see, Randy was talking to that fucking deer, saying, "Buddy's gonna kill you. Get out of here!" And then he was looking at him like, "What the fuck?" He had to shoo him away, and even then the deer didn't ran, but stopped. Like,
and as we saw over the weekend, there was that guy that, congrats to that guy. His son killed a stud, man. That kid's gonna have issues.
Who was that?
Chasing deer now because he freaking smoked a stud on his first deer.
Yeah, who was that? We were talking with his dad last night.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Like, that don't happen all the time, boy. You got lucky.
No, but that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats to that kid, dude. What a great freaking first deer. Anyhow, that was what, 12 feet off the ground?
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's it.
I was 16 feet off the ground.
That was 12 feet off the ground. It was a 50-yard shot. So, and I believe they were on a food plot as well. So but they could have had good back canopy for that deer not to see him. It was a mature buck. So I would say, he's asking for advice. 90% is your cover and concealment and your background.
I never go above 20 feet anymore, and I know it because my my gear hoist, my bow or gun hoist, is 24 feet long. And when I'm standing straight up on the platform or on the stick, when I get to the top step, when it starts to lift off the ground, I know that my platform is 20 to 21 feet. That's as high as I go. But I don't care how high. I'm not climbing to a height. I'm climbing to my surroundings. And with the saddle, and especially with the one stick, I'm able to. I was in a tree the other day. I was only 16 feet off the ground, but the tree literally was straight up in the middle, and then it had two branches. Oak tree came off like that.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of it. I sent it to Randy. I said, "This tree is why saddle hunting was invented." Because I was right in the middle of it. I could kind of put my leg on the tree, and I was, 15, 16 feet, but I was totally concealed. I had, cover around me. It was beautiful. That was an instance where it was like, this is where I need to kill a deer. This is perfect.
Definitely been a stupid low point on the ground and had deer walk right by me with concealment. I was up in a red oak one time and it was full of leaves, and this beast, I was only maybe 15 feet up.
That last video I posted of the doe that were underneath me, it was really, it was dark and you really couldn't see, but you can see they were there. I'm in a split oak, and they both lean, which is cool because when it leans this way, I can use the other tree and kind of stand up against it. I think my feet are maybe 12 feet off the ground, but I'm in a fucking oak that's like 200 years old. And they didn't know I was there because the fucking wind. I'm hunting with the fucking wind.
Concealment and wind, and then camera.
And it's downhill. So if I'm only 12 feet off the ground, but they're 50 yards away, now I'm like 20 because it's a pretty steep slope. So
Another thing to pay attention when you're in those draws though, because if you're 10, 15 feet up, you might be in the deer's. If the deer's coming down, you got to remember that as well. If the deer's coming,
yesterday,
you're in that deer's main field of vision. You're not in the horizon. So remember that when you're in those low areas too. You might go for low areas. You might have to go a little bit higher.
So when I first saw that deer last night, like I said, I was like 16 feet off the ground, and the fucking hill was probably 30 feet. So when he first came in, he was above me.
You're like,
But he came down and he stopped midway, and he was scent checking. He was smelling that bottom, and the wind was going this way. I'm looking that way. But of course, I had the grunt. He's horny. There's a reason why we see bucks more during the rut than we see in the early season, because they got cooter on the brain, and they look past some. They smell you. If your scent's there, they smell you, but they also heard. They're on a mission, so they get sloppy. Which Randy says all the time. He wants to kill a fucking big stud outside of the rut. Yeah. Anybody can kill them in the rut, because they're slipping up. But if you kill one, like say Skipper killing that one in like the first week, that was a stud too. I don't care what tactics you're using. That's some skill right there. Because he's not slipping up. He's a little bit more cautious when he's mature and it's early like that, and he's not over consuming testosterone and having to bust a nut.
Yeah, it's like the guy driving 100 miles an hour down the highway looking at his cell phone compared to just driving.
Kid or not.
Oh, he's talking about that
with a bow. So no, I agree. I said the same thing to my internal self. One, I the fact that I got him with a gun. It's not as cool.
Oh, so now you're not as cool.
No, it's not, because you got cool points. Now, if I was in a saddle, so that's a little cooler. I think the one stick is like the Delta Force of saddle hunting. Maybe
I'm 5 sticking it then.
Yeah. But once you try it, you're gonna be like, damn, this is so much easier than stupid fucking 4 sticks. So it's so retarded that guys get stuff. Like people say, there's a new invention. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff that's invented out of necessity that once you try it, you're like, yeah, that's bullshit. I don't need that.
Yeah.
It's just one more thing to carry. I'm a guy that likes to try all the new stuff, and I'm gonna tell you, the system I got set up right now it's the tits. And I don't understand, like, well, we didn't need that back in my day. Well, I get, what was it, Cliff Jones posted that one about the wooden sticks nailed to a fucking tree.
Oh yeah,
and I posted on there, I was like, yeah, let's go back 50 years in time and give that motherfucker a summit climber and see if he ever climbs that fucking rickety ass thing again. So, but I forgot what my train of thought was. I think I'm getting tired, and I think we're gonna end it. But thanks for coming on, man. I always like having you on here. You're the easiest person to talk to. No offense to everybody else, but
well, I mean, I'd like to think I'm a part of this because
you're never gonna get it. I like the fact. I like what we had before. I wish we could get something like that back.
It'll happen again. Back to this week, man.
Oh man, this fucking crazy. We didn't even talk about the fucking election.
Oh god, no. That's
great again.
That's another 2 hours on the podcast.
Yeah, holy shit. I'll tell you what, I have had people say, did you really kick that guy off and vote for Harris? Fuck yes, I did. Anybody, you vote for fucking Democrats, I'm kicking you off the page. Because this is not about politics no more. This is about motherfucking America and freedom. If you ain't fucking with the MAGA movement, in my opinion, you the enemy. So
I think
fuck
the first time
we can't agree to disagree on certain things. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things we can agree to disagree on.
Yeah.
It used to be two parties were kind of going the same direction. We could agree we should spend money here and not here. It's not what it used to be. Now it's literally like lines have been drawn.
Absolutely.
And people are like, well, that's not the way to be. No, it's different now. I'm a liberal. I'm a leftist. If you listen to me talk about politics and you go back to fucking 2000, be like, you liberal cocksucker, because I like all the social medicine and all that stuff. I'm a fucking, but the left is not the left. Like the Republicans now aren't the Republicans.
With 6.5. That's what Garrett says.
What's that?
I was probably talking about
MAGA motherfucker. I don't have a 6.5. My son does, and he'll outshoot your ass.
But man, yeah, I'm just back in the shadows, fucking laughing when everyone thinks I'm really, triggered or whatever. But someone made a good fucking comment the other day about this election. And I think this is great. The fucking hood's united with the fucking rednecks, man. I think that's fucking awesome.
Finally, it's been like that. But, the mainstream media, what I love about it is the fucking legacy media. Like my dad, I keep telling my dad's 70 years old, so he probably ain't going to change. But he is a fucking Fox News dad and Newsmax guy, and he watches the news. And I'm like, why are you... J.D. Vance and Trump just sat down for 3 fucking hours. Kevin Fetterman, the fucking Democrat guy that wears the hoodies and shit, I don't agree with his politics, but he sat down for 3 hours, and you can fucking get to know him and not just a little 5-second soundbite on a narrative that they're trying to spin. And you watch the news now, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me that people watch that shit.
That's why I go out in the trees, man, because fuck all that shit, dude. That's my opinion.
Look, I voted for the first time in the last time I voted was George W. Bush in 2000.
Oh, yeah.
And all through that whole time, my military career and contracting, and I never voted because I looked at it like I have more of a right to complain about the state of things than you
If
do.
you vote.
You voted.
Yeah.
So you wanted one of the sides. I didn't agree with none of it.
Oh, right.
So I just kind of made comments, but it's different now. You know, it is not, it's different. And I'm glad to see fucking Robert F. Kennedy in there. And I love the fact that Trump is giving him autonomy. It seems like at this point, go wild. You see that fucking post he put out? The FDA. If you work for the FDA right now and you're against psilocybin, which is mushrooms, for veteran therapy and blah, 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 and all the poison in food and all that, I got two things to say to you. One, preserve your record, and pack your shit.
Yep.
You know?
Hey, it's going to be, I'm excited, man. I feel good.
I'm nervous, though, because I think that the Democrats, either one or two things are happening. They're either being quiet right now because they got something cooking.
Well, we already know something's cooking. Man.
Or the other side is they really realized that, okay, some of these people are just in jobs and they supported their boss, so they want to keep their job. Now their bosses are gone and they're like, hey, what do we got to do? We're going to drop the charges? Done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're fucking running fucking scared.
We shall see.
Fucking shit.
Putting shit in the water that's turned the frogs gay. Alex.
You know what? I want to punch people in the face nowadays that fucking say, oh, crazy ass Alec Jones, that motherfucker's been right about everything. The only thing that he's been wrong about, and I still don't think he's wrong, because I still think Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook. I think Sandy Hook was a fucking scam, and he got hung on that one, but yeah.
Back to Hunt.
They were putting. We are talking about Hunt, because maybe we'll get a chance to hunt motherfucking Democrats. I'm just kidding. Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, for training purposes only.
That's not
in Minecraft.
That's not sitting there for the election night thinking everything.
Can they see that on camera? They can't see.
No, they can't see it.
But
I have a whole kit ready to go.
Duh, fucking, I'm excited. I'm more excited about this goddamn cold snap that's happening. Right
yes, cold snap this week. Did we confirm when it was? Let's confirm.
It's right now, man.
What's Jonathan? Oh, that's Chris Holloway. You killed that deer. Ha! He knows where I killed it. How the fuck do you know where I killed it?
No, man, I'm telling you.
There's Jonathan, did you tell you
it's 50 degrees outside. Fuck yeah, low of 41. And we are sitting cold all the way through the weekend.
So what's it going to be on Thursday morning? 44.
48 degrees with rain.
Sunday, 43.
If you're not out Thursday morning, you're
75% chance.
Or Thursday.
I ain't getting wet. I'm over this.
No, the rain breaks Thursday.
What time though?
Friday's gonna be killer.
At 5 p.m. and they still got rain.
So let me ask, because I haven't real quick, so I know we gotta wrap it up.
I ain't never seen a deer in the fucking.
I wasn't out last weekend. Was it last weekend? There was a weekend I missed. But did we have one? Have we had one of those days yet where you got fucking every gut hook filled? You got the parking lot filled.
I think that's gonna be this weekend coming.
Hasn't happened yet.
It's always okay. It's always like the second. In between the second and third week of November.
Because I remember, yeah, it was. I don't know.
That's when everybody that only hunts for the fucking rut that comes out there. Yeah. It's full everywhere.
It looks like a goddamn swamp meet.
And there's people waiting
people
outside.
Sitting on their fucking deer. And the 4 directions or 2 directions into the
it might have happened last weekend because there were 10 people up in there.
Yeah.
Because the season's been kind of weird with the heat. And and the activity.
So do you think we're a little bit later? I think
it's going to be this weekend.
This weekend and next weekend.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
America,
cool. Exactly.
Cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Cool. All right. MAGA. That's my new thing. I'm bringing MAGA back.
I
wear my dark MAGA hat everywhere. I don't give a fuck. I carry a gun. Say something. But on all my posts now, instead of being like ride on, I'm like MAGA. We're gonna bring this shit back. Fool.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Yep. Fuck yeah, get out there and get that fucking deer. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Yep.
Don't shoot scrubs.
We are out. Don't shoot scrubs. You're supposed to say don't say anything racist. Are we still on?
I'm waiting for you to say something racist.
Oh my god. You still got me.